many terrible Disney adaptations, Cruella is here to break the mold.
Did it do it? I'll tell you that here in a second.
I'm Cruella.
Alright, so Cruella is the latest in the Disney live-action adaptations. It is supposed to break the mold, according to a lot of people, just based on the trailer. It was super dark, it was super hot, looked really fresh, looked original, and a lot of people were kind of relying on this to be that first one to just break the mold of, like, very stale feeling Disney live action adaptations, although this is more of a prequel in a way, starring Emma Thompson as Cruella, but she's not really Cruella here. She's Estella, and she kind of finds herself in a path of revenge, shall we say, and she wants to get revenge, and by doing so becomes Cruella. I'm trying to be very careful without spoiling this film, but I gotta say, guys, this movie was fantastic. Finally, we have one of these Disney live action adaptation type things that worked, and I thought it was super solid. Emma Stone killed it. I know a lot of people were thinking, oh, she's not going to pull it off. She's not good casting for Cruella. Heard a lot of that. I was actually extremely proud of her for, you know, kind of going against the naysayers here. I felt like she just did an amazing job, and a lot of people aren't going to like the take on this film in particular, but I do feel like they will like Emma Stone as the character at the very least. I mean, she definitely did her homework. She is Cruella, but there are going to be some stubborn few out there who just don't like this new take. I mean, you're either going to like it or you're not, but for myself, I thought it was so fresh, so original, and just everything that we needed from one of these live action adaptations, and finally it is here, the one that is just fantastic, that, you know, kind of sweeps them all out of the water. And man, it was just so good. I mean, I loved Emma Thompson in this film as well. Joel Fry was really good as one of the henchmen, and same for Paul Walter Hauser, who's mainly the comic relief here. He did a fantastic job as well. Craig Gillespie's directing is a lot of what makes this film also. I mean, it is a character study, and Emma Stone and Emma Thompson definitely hold it up quite a bit, but Craig Gillespie definitely knew how to direct this film as well. He has wonderful cinematography. The film is gorgeous throughout. It's just put together extremely well, and I was so happy to see it. I really like the sort of revenge path, again, that Emma Stone, her character goes down. Revenge and sort of coming of age are sort of two themes in this movie, and I think that they both got executed extremely well here. It's very dark. It's the darkest of the live action Disney adaptations, and it should be, because we are focusing on a villain. I feel like Maleficent kind of failed on that level to where it just didn't get dark enough. This one definitely keeps a pretty solid, consistent dark tone throughout it. It does have levity, but a lot of the humor is also kind of wrapped up in a dark place. I mean, it comes from a dark spot anyway, and it's darker humor for the most part. And this cast was just really fantastic all around. Mark Strong, who I thought was going to be wasted in this movie, actually ended up playing a fairly more significant role than I expected, and I really enjoyed him as well. The movie is fun in tone at the same time of being dark. It kind of struck this really great balance, which is why I think it worked a lot of the time, and I think it's going to work for a lot more people than these live action adaptations have. So that was just really pleasant and refreshing to see. And again, like, Emma Stone just knocks this role out of the park. She was just perfect for this role in so many different ways. I mean, she definitely had the biggest stretch in terms of her range in this film as a performer, because Emma Thompson also is kind of, you know, transformative in this movie, but on the same hand, you know, she's playing a classy Brit, which Emma Thompson actually is, but now she's a classy Brit with a little bit of edge, but she does a great job at getting under your skin as the Baroness in this film. So I really enjoyed her part, and she's kind of the villain that creates our anti-hero, if you will, in Cruella, who again is actually Estella, but Estella, kind of goes down a path of revenge, and it's transforms into Cruella. That's about as far as I'll say on the plot without spoiling it too much, but again, just the imagery in this film is a lot of what holds it up. I think that it just had some fantastic looking images in there, and it's just a beautiful looking movie. The soundtrack is unbelievably great. I mean, I might be a little bit biased because it included a lot of songs and artists that I just kind of listen to on a daily basis anyway. I mean, they had things like the Stones and Led Zeppelin, which I just thought was a really great way to kind of capture that 1970s like punk rock era of London. And that's another thing I enjoyed, is just the setting of it all, and it captures that so incredibly well. Again, guys, I really love this movie a lot. I was very surprised by it, and I think that if any of these are warranted a sequel, it's going to be this one, because it definitely leaves some openings for a sequel, but maybe not in the way that you guys might think, which I think is pretty cool. I was just very thrilled with how it managed to do that in a very different way. And I think that this is like a prequel with its own take on, how Cruella became Cruella, but also you can kind of see, how she is not Cruella in a way, like how it is original. On the same hand, it's kind of a weird balance between Estella and Cruella, where Cruella is kind of like this alter ego, and I found that to be really, really interesting, because it seems that Estella is extremely, it's almost like Batman and Bruce Wayne. To me, Bruce Wayne is the mask on Batman, and Estella here is kind of Cruella's mask, and I kind of found that to be very, very interesting and cool. Again, guys, I mean, it has the perfect amount of levity in there on top of the darkness, and when you strike that perfect balance between the two, you can really make something special, I think, and something that I cannot wait to watch again, with tremendous performances and just wonderful areas of fun. That's the thing, it's fun and it's unexpected at times. There are definitely some moments that I just didn't see coming, for sure, and I don't want to give those away, but I was just like, wow, this is awesome. It's unpredictable. It has its own original take. There are elements there that just explain the personality of Cruella a lot more, and just the fact that, again, that Emma Stone did the homework, brought her own flair to it, but she also just plays the role incredibly well. I'm so proud of her for just holding her own. I know so many people had doubts, and I hopefully just depletes them of that, because again, she carries a lot of this movie along with Emma Thompson, and I think that the two just complement each other so well throughout the film, and that just surprised the heck out of me. I do have some negatives, not a whole heck of a lot, but if I were to give any, it is a tad bit overlong, but just a tad bit. I think that you maybe could have trimmed a little bit off of the backstory in the beginning, where it kind of dove into Cruella as a child, and it could have been, we could have gotten the same film with the same effect for sure. So just a tad bit overlong, but for the most part, I thought once you're into it, you just really don't care, because you're just so wrapped into the story. So you feel it a little bit, but not much. So that's one little nitpick there. Another thing is there's a scene of exposition that's delivered by Mark Strong that I thought could have been fleshed out a little bit more, which is kind of funny because I'm kind of already nitpicking the runtime a little bit, but maybe if you just tacked on 5 to 10 more seconds onto it to flesh it out a little bit more. Wouldn't have been a big deal. And then again, just go back and cut some stuff from that very, very beginning, just little tiny pieces, and then just, you know, we could have either had an equal runtime with the more fleshed out exposition scene later, or a shorter runtime overall. One of the two. But either way, again, like I said, it doesn't affect it all too much, because like by the time you're in the third act, you're so wrapped up into it that you're like, okay, this is getting a little overlong, but like I don't care, because it's just I'm wrapped up in it. I hope that's how people feel. Again, there are going to be stubborn people out there that just aren't going to like to take it all, and that's cool. But I think it's going to please most people. I would say. I think most people are going to be pretty proud of what was done here, and very happy. And it just feels like a breath of fresh air when you put it up against a lot of the other live action adaptations that have come out that just you know, kind of fall short in a lot of places, or just aren't good at all from time to time, or maybe they're just fine and they feel kind of stale. I mean, there are some that I've enjoyed. I like Aladdin, and I like excuse me, I thought Mulan was actually good when that came out. I like those, and Jungle Book was another great one. But you know, then you got like Lion King that feels stale, and then the rest of them just really haven't been that good in my opinion. So again, just very thrilled to get this piece of art that just really worked finally, and happy that it's here. And I mean, Cruella was a really, really fun time, and honestly, guys, I mean, it's worth the matinee. So if you wanted to go see it, definitely catch it at a matinee, I would say, because it just, I think it will surprise a lot of people with how great it actually is. I figured it might be the one that was going to be like better, you know, than the rest, but it actually, like, it wasn't just better than the rest of the live action adaptations. It swept them under the rug. I mean, it really did. It blew them out of the water. They were just those just feel like nothing in comparison. They definitely pale in comparison to this. So just definitely really thoroughly dug this one a lot. Just 100% was happy that Disney went extremely dark again. And I guess the one other thing that I'll add, which is fine because I understand that this is a Disney adaptation based on a family film, so I get why they didn't go this way with it. But there are times when Disney tries to do darker things that I just wish they can go all the way. I wish that the stubbornness didn't get in the way of them, you know, maybe going for that R rating on something like this, because it could have benefited this film. I gotta be honest with you. You know, just having a little bit more of that R rating. But this is actually a little bit more warranted this time, because it is a adaptation of an iconic character, by the way, you know, from 101 Dalmatians, which is a children's family type film. So I get why they had to stick with the PG-13 here. I'm just saying there are times in the movie that's like, man, if you're gonna go original with the take, I just wish you can go all the way with it, you know what I mean? And especially when you kind of start out dark a little bit, or have that dark tone in there, you just want it to get a little bit more darker. You just want it to go for it, you know? And yeah, as an adult, that's kind of how I look at it, but I understand that kids are gonna want to watch this, and that's cool too. So for sure, like, definitely by all means let them see it. And you know, even within their PG-13 setting, I mean, they definitely pushed the envelope in some parts. I mean, there were some parts that were kind of pretty dark, and I wasn't expecting it to get that dark. So anyway, thrilled with it. Emma Stone just knocked it out of the park. Emma Thompson was great too. All the cast was really, really good. I don't really have any gripes about casting here. Direction on point. Again, guys, Cruella is worth a matinee. Check it out. And thank you guys for tuning in again. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, and hit that bell for notifications. I've been Don Martino. You guys can catch our other shows here on the Anorex Entertainment channel as well. Movie night airs on Monday nights at 11:30 p.m., which we'll be doing a spoiler review of Cruella over there. So be sure to tune into that. Also, we have The Anorex Entertainment Podcast, airing on Wednesday nights at 5 p.m. and Saturday nights at 5 p.m. That's also on Spotify, and that is hosted by myself, so make sure you check that out as well. Anyway, guys, been a good time. This has been another review, and hope you guys have a good night. Later.